are going to get all that inflow of value. And, I can't prove it, but I'm going to claim that this is all a setup. Bitcoin ultimately is a setup. The NSA had the paperwork way before Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, because we never met him, supposedly created this currency. It's all on record, right? The NSA has the exact plans on record that years later, this guy supposedly used and created and vanished. Okay, so I'm not buying it. It's another psyop. Great psyop. They're playing it out really, really great. It's a great act. Bitcoin's bad. It's horrible. Don't get it. As now all BlackRock and Vanguard and everyone piles into this venue, into the digital currency venue, right? Now they start releasing to the mainstream that they should get it and be a part of it. When's the rug pull coming exactly, right? When's the complete market manipulation crash coming? Because it is. We know that. But again, that's the whole point of this Bitcoin digitized currency is they're going to game the markets. They're going to manipulate the average sheep. They're going to suck them dry of their wealth, and they're going to crash the system and then move you over to that, right? That's what it would seem to me. They're going to crash the stock market and the economic systems like they have 100 years ago. This is not, I'm not theorizing here, folks. I'm giving you a window into modern day, mainline history from the past to the present modern day. So this has all happened before. I've said it over and over again. Folks don't want to accept it, or they can't accept it because then it's going to require them to do something different with their life. Most people, as I've met, the inauthentic corporate males, they don't want to go back to live on the land. They don't want to go to unincorporated lands without as many products and services, without police forces and all the rest of it, policy enforcement. They don't want to go back to the land with few, if any, population and actually own their land and grow their own food and have a self-sustainable water source. They want to live in cities and suburbs and get benefits and privileges and lean into the corporate matrix structure and give all their time, energy, attention, main resources, that's their main resource, time, energy, attention, and physical, financial resources to the beast system matrix in every shape, form, or fashion. So I contend historically that we're going to see a reprioritization event, a refocusing, where folks are essentially going to be forced back on the land and to live within their means. We've seen this all 100-something years ago. It's called the Great Depression. We're doing Great Reset now. It's underway. They're going to give us greater depression. I suspect, I can't prove it. You're going to see a collapse of your already baseless, built to fail Ponzi scheme monetary system called the US dollar. And they're going to bring in digitized currencies where all of your persona in the digital and corporate realm is tracked and traced and monitored and connected to these tokenized assets, just like they did the last time they engineered the Great Depression and gave everyone the Social Security system and took the gold and silver backing off of the fiat dollar, right? And got everyone deeper into a debt system with no security, only surety, right? What's the difference between security and surety? Well, you were the creditor. This whole system did exist because you existed. It was here to serve you. Now it seems that all of the makers of the products, the big corporations and the service providers are now telling you what you're going to be and do. So we went from the customer's always right to the customer's always a slave. And that's part of the last 4 years Slave at 19 beta test program. How do we get these folks deeper into fascism than ever before on a common law nation that was supposed to be about capitalism and republicanism? Well, we do fascism, crony capitalism, and we do democracy. It happens to work, right? So this is why over the last 4 years, and you'll probably see now that anywhere you go, used to be 50, 100 years ago, customer was treated with respect. Customer was always right. We're here to serve. Now the customer has become a consumer, a non-essential, lockdown, code-driven, money-driven being who has no purpose and meaning as a man or woman under God, right? So the plan is working perfectly. So now all the folks who have the big corporations and the products and services are going to tell us what we're going to do and be. And they wonder why I say the Third Reich never went away. It expanded its territory. And that's mainline history. We're in it now. We're in a second, third, fourth, however you want to consider it, based on nation states, Holocaust event. Fascist corporate takeover, collectivized, where policy and code rules the day. The air, the water, the food is poisoned. And folks tell me if they just pay the damn tax and vote one more time, it's all going to get better. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the God of this simulation, either the God of this world or the God of creation, is calling us now, like it has many times before, every point in history on every land, to get back to the land, to get back to God and truth and faith, to get back to a self-sustainable cooperative system. No, I'm not talking communism the way that most folks understand it. I'm talking community, right? Both have a similar root word. The root word is commune, with higher self, higher sense of self in the world, but not of it, right? Your thoughts, Henry or Brian? I know I said a lot there. We're going to move forward. We got a few more clips. We got some cop shooting citizen slaves, body camera. No, Brian.
I want to get into something.
Go ahead.
Have you heard any of these Drake Kendrick songs?
No, I don't get into that nonsense. I don't put my time, energy, attention on these clowns and their internecine rap battles.
Right. Well, the thing of it is, dude, this Kendrick is coming like, he's giving him like a fucking therapeutic, dude. He's giving him the real, he's calling him a pedophile and fucking, dude, he's coming like, it's like, it looks like it's setting up a P. Diddy situation where they're going to raid his house. Like Kendrick is Drake's greatest asset right now. He's giving him the stone cold, unapologetically authentic, radically authentic truth, like through these rap songs, dude. Like, because Drake, dude.
Oh yeah, you're seeing a reckoning, right? Remember The Dark Knight? These directors don't write these movies for no reason. They're students of history and they're students of the metaphysical and conscious and awareness. This is Gotham's reckoning. What do you think the Dark Knight movie was about? It's allegorical and archetypal. So this right now, where we sit, we're in flux like we always are. But essentially, we have necessary evil, Bane, coming in to expose to all the people of Gotham what's been going on from the beginning of time. It's also known as an apocalypse, right? Apocalypse in Greek just means the revealing of the truth that's been present, that we've ignored or have not been able to see. So yeah, we're in an apocalypse time. That doesn't mean an end of the world or the end of the race necessarily. It means the revealing of the truth that's always been here. Your whole life has been directed or misled or influenced by corrupt infidels in and of the world. So, big surprise. This is the same dynamic we see in the holy scriptures about the Christed being. So yeah, it's all coming out now. You're going to see all the activities and behaviors that everybody wanted to ignore because they were too busy with their idol worship and their cult of culture and their products and services and the Hollywood glitz and glamour. Now we're going to get an up-close personal look at what it's all been. And we know subconsciously, if not consciously, it's always been. Right? Deviance, hedonism, dysfunction, human trafficking, drug pushing, and all the rest of it. All basically the lowest of the low is glorified in these venues. Right? And it's become a cultural endeavor. It's become a societal endeavor. It's no longer just them up on the hill doing what they do. It's now trickled down into the fabric of mainstream society and culture because of the media, right? So yeah, this is a long-term game. It's a spiritual dynamic. Shaitan, the deceiver, is working its way on humans from the beginning of time using the media, right? Colors, symbols, words, terms, lights, smoke, mirrors to confuse, to disempower, to delude, to deceive, to disenfranchise. It's worked perfectly. But now we're at a different time. Folks like me ain't going to stop talking. We're not going to stop living the truth. They can't shadow ban as much as they'd like to because they're not the God of creation. They don't have the power. They don't have the control. In the beginning is the word. The word is made real. You can't keep a good man down and you can't keep the truth in the dark. So yeah, there's a good chance that a movement is happening, universal movement. This is not a personal movement. There's a movement in the universe right now of an awakening, apocalypse, revealing of a truth that's always been here. And now we're being given a choice and an opportunity. Rise to the occasion and do what we always should have been doing, which is what's true and what's right, and being spiritually faithful and surrendering the rest, or we go deeper into judgment and degradation. You can't say everyone hasn't been put on notice. The whole world, by the God of creation, with the covenant that the devil, the God of this world, has revealed the truth to everybody over the last 4 years. If you will not look at it and accept it and move forward in truth and do what's right, the judgment is going to get worse. The conditions in the environment are going to get worse. You may get to a point where you will have no way back until the organic cycle takes hold and takes its place. So, yeah, I think it's already underway. Like I say, it's the best of times, worst of times. It has to get really bad before it can get really good again, right? We know that. That's the Ouroboros, the light age, dark age cycle. So, yeah, we're probably at and going into a deeper dark age in order to come out on the light side, on the right side of history. You know, just like an addict, man. We've been so addicted to the world and everything in it for so long. We got to hit rock bottom in order to get fresh eyes on what we need to do next. So, yeah, all the addictions and the bondage and vice is going to have to be looked at and questioned in order for us to not hit rock bottom. If we do hit rock bottom, well, then the phoenix rises from the ashes. That is the story of conscious and awareness and this incarnation, individually and collectively. That's my story. You know, it had to get really bad before it got really good. You got to go through hell to get to heaven. The tree of life's roots reach down to hell. You know, that's the reality of this simulation, holographic as it might be. That's where I see the purpose and meaning and value in this incarnation and this simulation. Everything is as it's meant to be right now. You know? Your thoughts, Henry, Brian, before we move along? I'll throw the link again if folks want to come up.
I think that was a great summary of that situation, because Drake, dude, yeah, Drake needs what Kendrick is saying, bro. But it's also fascinating because this dude's got, he's at the top, right? Drake, he's got all this fucking money, but he's got gambling addictions. He's got all these accusations. And he's not happy, dude. Kendrick is just pointing out every fucking flaw, his team he's even got like moles in his team that's like leaking shit to Kendrick and saying, yeah, he deserves this. Like, get him, Kendrick. He's not a good person. Like, Kendrick is like, you should die, dude. Like, he's coming so hard, dude. It's not even a rap diss, dude. He's just like, people like you should be dead. He goes, I don't give a. He's like, dude, it's gnarly, bro. I'm not even saying I'm into it. I'm not even into them two really as rappers that much. I mean, Drake's made some good shit. I haven't listened to much of Kendrick's, but you're basically dead on with how you summed it up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful in getting this versus that mentality and dynamic, because ultimately we're all human, we're all imperfect, and we all have tests and challenges where we fall short of the quote unquote most high. So you can't make it all about Drake or all about anybody else, because I guarantee Kendrick, just like everybody else, if we're going to focus on that one being, is a self, just like we all are. So there's no exemption from this process of life and these practices and these revelations and understandings. You get it or you don't. And if you do get it, you get it on your own time with your own experience. That's the way that this works, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that like, oh, yeah, I mean, there's levels to shit, though. I mean, if he is into some weird... But yeah, dude, just like me driving around, dude, like I expose myself I just can't fucking... Like, have so much fear.
Mr. O'Shea, could you please have the Illuma slavery clown banned for good from your chat, because he's using your chat to cycle in my chat, and I'm not interested in being interfered with and distracted. The demons are crawling out because they see numbers are running up. They see that folks are supporting me. They see that I have or am speaking whatever it is they don't and aren't. So they're playing their usual games. Very predictable. Speaking of which, how are you, Snafu Snaps? What do you have?
Oh, just interesting to see Brian here, promoting you, which is good. I'm kind of waiting to see when you have your conversation with him, because I want his audience to understand. I look at this as Brian's in damage control because he's been promoting grifters and scammers. And maybe he realized...
You know what your position on it is. You've spoken it over and over again. Why are you cycling and spinning here again? Are you going to force your narrative on my broadcast because another audience is here?
I'm just waiting to find out if he's going to be...
Okay, well, waiting doesn't require speaking. See how that passive-aggressive duplicitousness works? Waiting for me to talk to Brian doesn't require you cycling and spinning and projecting over and over again until that time comes. You get it? You're attempting to influence me indirectly or directly and this audience, and I don't appreciate it.
Well,
yeah, why don't you pull up Snafu's stream from last night where he's fucking talking shit about you, dude?
I'm not going to do this. I'll see you later. I'm not doing this. Every time that my number counter rises and every time there's a group conversation or dynamic, I have all the demons and the uncontrolled and the dissolute come out to start interjecting and projecting and playing all these games. I don't need it. You're not more intelligent than I am. You're not a better speaker. You don't have more discernment, and you're not more successful. So why would I lean on your discernment rather than my own? It's presumptuous, it's arrogant, and it's ignorant of the facts. I don't appreciate it. And you're subtly interfering with me and my countenance, and you're subtly attempting to manipulate me to become like you. And I don't want to be like you. So please stop it. I've asked you over and over again to please stop it. If you want to have conversations, you can have them. I don't need the cycling and spinning and repetitious narratives that Brian High Impact is a pogo and he's doing damage control by supporting me. It doesn't make any sense. If he's doing damage control, why would he support me and bring more viewers? If he's doing damage control by me speaking the truth, why would he bring more audience to my platform for me to potentially speak on him or Mr. DeCastro? Doesn't make any sense. If he was doing damage control, he would just never address me to begin with. If it was so powerful and damaging to him, he would just never engage with me. He just would ignore me. He definitely wouldn't send people over to listen to me. That makes no sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
So you're free to have that perspective. You're free to have that perspective, but Brian and the rest of the folks on here know that I'm not bought off. I'm not for sale, right? Just like I'll tell you, I'll tell him if need be. I will not be influenced away from what my heart calls me to do, for better or for worse. Do you get that?
That's why I'm going to just watch it play out.
Thank you. Thank you for just observing and then reporting and not forcing a narrative and trying to influence me. It's not necessary, right? We're all oneself. We're all here for a bigger purpose. We all get it at our own time. If folks are going to cross-platform and share opportunities and audience with each other, well, then at that point, it's on them to do and be who and what they're meant to be. There doesn't have to be this constant resistance. There doesn't have to be this constant persecution and prosecution. It's very simple. He said, I'm going to come over there. He told his audience that I may ask questions and hold people accountable, and I may have some quote-unquote harsh words at times. I don't see it as harsh words. I see it as real words. Real words sometimes are harsh words to folks who don't want to accept truth. That's okay. We need that to level up. All right? Just like we need it from Father, in quotes, God, and our Father in heaven or on earth, right? We need that from fatherly archetypal men, right? Who can bring those seemingly harsh truths to the forefront so we can all observe them and address them and potentially level up. That's leadership. So it doesn't require persecution and prosecution. It doesn't require a fear-based element necessarily, unless we're talking everyone's individual fear of God and not addressing their conscience and living by their conscience and what their heart tells them. That should be your biggest fear in life, not of what I'm going to say and not say or do and not do. Your biggest fear, like mine is in life, should be not actualizing and realizing and becoming the man you're meant to be and living how God wants you to live.
You know what? I see what's happening already. Look at your chat. The cupcakes are like, enough discussion. People who've never even seen you before. Fuck you, Brian, cupcake motherfuckers. You're going to learn a new lesson here over at Polyboy's channel. So this tribalism, sucking on
You're
Brian's
doing it.
nipples
You're
and
saying
dick
tribalism, but you're doing it. You're taking a new audience and you're insulting them and attacking them. And I'm not doing that, nor do I need to do that. My power ultimately and value is not in creating a this versus that dynamic or insulting someone else's audience when these are all people just like you and I.
Yeah, they're fucking culted cupcake fucktards.
I'm not interested in that. Even if that was true, I have no reason to believe that. They're here, they're watching, they're listening, they're giving me an opportunity to speak. So even if that was true, which I don't believe it is, I have no reason to believe that, well then, more the better. Because if we're supposed Christians, I don't call myself that, you apparently do, well then you should want folks to come here who are not like you and who don't have or know the truth. So you could reveal that to them potentially. So that is a great audience, an audience who isn't going to necessarily automatically side with me, is going to ask questions, may come from somewhere else with preconceived notions. That's great. That gives me or anyone else who's in the position the opportunity to win them over, not by bullshitting them or appealing to their emotion or political science games, right? By being who and what I am, speaking the truth from my heart, and then finding out who resonates with that and who's not meant to be here. That's a great process. We've done it many times. We'll do it many times again. It does not require prosecution, persecution, aggression, resistance, condemnation, or all the rest of it, especially for folks who've not earned that. So I'm going to ask you to pump your brakes.
You can keep back.
All right. I'll see you later, bud. I'm not going to play this fucking game with you. You're not going to threaten me. You're not going to influence me. You're not going to project onto me in this audience. You're not going to intermeddle with my process and journey. If you want to be part of it, you can be part of it. That means I set the tone and the narrative and the direction, and you support that endeavor. If you want to constantly resist me and butt heads with me and fight me while pretending to support me, we're going to have these issues and problems. So I've told you too many times before that I don't want to kick you out, and I don't want to have to speak to you like this, but you're acting like a broken hoe. You're acting like a broken, petulant child, and there seems to be only one way to deal with folks like you, which is to tell you what's going to happen and not happen, like policy enforcement. Here's the deal, Snafu. Here's the deal, and here's what's going to go on. I'm going to do a broadcast. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. If you want to come and give your perspective, great. When I say we're moving on, let it go, we move on and let it go, or I move you the fuck out. It's been like this for over a year and a half. I'm done with the fucking games. You got anything, Brian O'Shea, before we move forward? And I know now he's going to default to his one power move. I'm going to strike you and the crew's going to strike you. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it again. You've done it before, and you're going to create more of a resistance between us. And then I just won't have you here at all. You want to play these fucking games. It's really sad and pathetic that we just can't show up here and do what the fuck we do, that the audience requires from us, and that the God of creation requires from us, without playing these low-level power and value games, right? It gets boring, it gets old, it gets draining. It's not nourishing and enriching. It's a waste of our time, energy, and attention. The truth stands on its own. It doesn't have to be hollered and repeated over and over again. It doesn't have to be persecuted and projected onto people. Give me something, Brian O'Shea, before we move forward. I'm sick of these fucking people and their constant sucking off me and coattail riding.
Yeah, you should pull up Snafu's stream from last night. You know, I hopped on there to show his 5 viewer asked a little support, and he starts shitting on you. Oh, Paul doesn't really do it in the street. You know, I do more when it's like real deal, like on the street. Like, he's such a piece of shit.
Right,
bro.
he's constantly competing with me. He thinks we don't see that and feel that. That 1 minute he's supporting me and trying to help the channel. The next minute he's trying to compete with me when he thinks nobody's watching and listening, and telling everyone how better he is than me and how much more he's doing. Well, then stick to your area, do what you do it better than me, and don't cross over. Like, are you trying to convince yourself that, or the rest of us, or both? All right, we got Judge Simpson, Snaps on Pro Say Putts. We got Councilman Eric Mays, Greatest Moments Volume. Rest in peace, Mr. Eric Mays. And we got Breaking Slave News. What do you want, O'Shea? I'll give you the choice. I'll give it to the audience, too. The audience can vote if they wish. Do you want the Greatest Moments of Eric Mays, Councilman? Do you want the Zoom court appearance from the African-American judge known as Judge Simpson, going off apparently on a man who attempts to represent or present himself? Or do you want the Breaking Slave News? Or would you like cop shooting citizen slaves, body cam footage? Go ahead, O'Shea, cast your vote now. And folks in chat, I don't know how they could, I guess I could start a vote, but give me the abbreviated. Go ahead.
I want that African American judge going off on the guy, being himself, not using a lawyer. I don't know how to say it. Not representing.
Yeah, I think that's what Teddy wants as well. Isn't that Teddy down there?
Teddy's
all right.
Teddy.
We don't have any more DeCastro whining and crying from the cell and saying he's a law scholar and also embarrassing everybody when it comes to going to court. We have any more of that?
You could pull up the live stream from yesterday with this fat slob and this injury.
That was me, Brian O'Shea. That was me. Please, I'm right here.
They were on Chili DeCastro's channel. Delete Laws had a live stream last night. I'm in the chat going, no one even fucking responded to me, dude. I'm just like, hello, like I'm just trying to hold them accountable a little bit, but they didn't.
Yeah, he's got a bar attorney slave over there. I didn't really listen to any of it, but I saw a few moments. He's got some bar attorney slave who, is going to sit up there and talk about how law works from a legal society perspective, which is always fascinating and ironic to me. But this is the world we live in. All right, let's go to the pro se situation, see where it goes. If it doesn't pick up and it's not rather interesting, give me the word in chat or holler out Brian O'Shea up here and let me know, hey, we're bored. This is garbage. We don't care. Let's move on. And we'll get to something else. We got a lot up there.
Court calls case People versus Dolores Strickland.
Buffering.
I was young. And that's April
4th to April 15th.
Okay. Defendant is permitted to travel to Las Vegas April 4th through April 15th inclusive. All right.
Thank you.
Court calls case People versus Dolores Strickland. 2 cases.
Judge, Portia, please, the Assistant Public Defender, on behalf of Ms. That's my right at the podium. Ms. Strickland, please state your name for the record.
Dolores Strickland.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Daytime self-PC matter. I am seeking to adjourn this matter for a few weeks to try to see if we can find a resolution. I know that the people have a motion regarding bond that they want to be heard, Your Honor.
All right.
That's correct, Your Honor. 2 things from the first is that new issues will either be issued today or tomorrow for the case for which you came into custody. I expect that to be 4 felonies.
4 felonies?
Correct. Also, I received information that, and forwarded this to the defense, that on 3/6, she left 3 voicemails for the victim, 2 from a different inmate. And in each of the voicemails, she is asking the victim for money. She says, it's your fault I'm here. So I think you should pay my $200.
Okay, so just to be clear, because we've said it here before and we got to put it on record over and over again, especially for new viewers. If you're at a court and you're presenting yourself special presentment and you're not putting yourself in their jurisdiction, which most of these people do like automatically without knowing it, you should be objecting, as they say. You should be like cutting off that prosecutor as soon as they go to speak and making the court and the record aware and the administrator aware that who is that woman? That woman has to swear in. She has to have firsthand knowledge of whatever the facts of the matter are. You can't just have some state of agent walk in with no firsthand knowledge and start moving the court as a third party, impartial state actor calling themselves the people. This is how easily you folks get scammed right out of your rights and out of proper process and procedure. You stop them immediately. Who is the disembodied voice that I hear speaking right now? Is that woman going to swear in? It sounds like a woman. It's a disembodied voice at this point because you've not put any man or woman on record. Are you going to swear in, lady? Are you Mr. or Mrs. People? No, I'm Kathy Jones. Great. So we're going to swear you in. You're going to swear to tell the truth, and you're only going to give firsthand knowledgeable testimony on the facts of the matter. Anything else is not applicable to that court proceeding. Can't be spoken on, can't be done. You folks just sit there and go, I'm going to get a bar attorney or I'm going to represent myself. And then you let a court steamroll you by running game on you and doing smoke and mirrors because you don't understand proper process and procedure and the rules of the court or record. You can't speak unless you swear in. If you do swear in and speak, you have to have firsthand knowledge of what took place that day. It means you have to be there that day. If you weren't there that day and you have no firsthand knowledge, you have no recognition and no standing in that case. And that's when the administrator then says, you know the rules, you got to sit down. Now we got a problem or a solution. Depends on what perspective you're looking from. Because once you cut that prosecutor off and make them aware and that court of record aware that we have a disembodied voice speaking, pretending to be the people, but not swearing in and having no firsthand knowledge, we have nobody else in this room who can move that case. See the game? That's how they steamroll. 98% of you, if you go to any county, 98% of folks get convicted because 98% of folks don't know the rules of court, proper process and procedure. And worse off, they plead the fuck out. So they lay all this crap at your feet. They make you scared. They tell you what's going to happen. You don't even address all the fraudulent charging instruments, the lack of jurisdiction of subject matter, the improper process and procedure, the fraudulent claims of an actor of the state claiming to be the firsthand knowledgeable prosecutor, claimant, sovereign mover of the court. It's absurd. So as soon as you call that out, they have to sit down and they know the rules of court. You folks don't do that. That's why you lose every time. And DeCastro's a moron along with his legal counsel because it's that easy and that quick. But it's never occurred to you, I guess. It's never occurred to you to get the person who's the prosecutor, the one moving the claim, on record and make them reveal themselves and the fact that they're hiding behind a personage mask of the people. That's who has all the power. You're the people, not the prosecutor and the state agents. They've duped you and they flipped the script on you. We'll get it right at some point. We'll figure out how to present in court and retain our status and standing in our natural rights.
Do it. Get me some money on that commissary now, or else I'm going to effing freak out on you whenever I get that out of here. And we also received information from the victim. This is the DV victim. That she sent her a letter. I got a copy of that letter, which I will need to forward to defense. It's a 5-page handwritten letter. That she sent her a letter. I got a copy of that letter, which I will need to forward to defense. It's a 5-page handwritten letter. That she sent her a letter. I got a copy of that letter, which I will need, and asking him for money repeatedly. So I'm going to ask that her reminded of the no contact order, that her jail call privileges be revoked. I'm going to ask that his number be blocked with the jail.
Paul, can you pause it?
Obviously, I don't have the letter yet. I was made aware of the phone call last night. We understand the people's request, and Ms. Strickland.
We understand the people's request. They just keep repeating this shit. This is how mind and heart controlled and indoctrinated they are. They keep repeating nonsense. The people's request. Who are the people? There's one woman there who won't swear in. Who are the people? If it's not you and I, the men and women of this land, or the citizens, who are the people who have all the power and sovereignty of the court to move it? This is so obvious and bizarre to me. In one move, in one moment, you can see the whole game and how they've hacked you and how you can take power back over these courts and these presentments by calling out the obvious fraud and script flipping. Go ahead, Mr. O'Shea.
What's going on in those bottom two squares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are those? Sense? Okay, so we got the court, but then who are these bottom two people? What is that?
That's the prosecutor, and I believe that's the quote unquote defendant.
He was showing a video that said victim and someone was laying on top. So that prosecutor.
Right. This is administrative court where they have an administrator and they have a prosecutor and nobody adjudicating. There's no jury, right? So essentially, this is a trial by tribunal, where the state actors have assumed the position of the men and women of the people, and they've presumed and got you under contract as the person, the legal person, part of legal society. So they're frauding, they're duping.
No, but these people are not in the courtroom. These two bottom boxes. I mean, these two people have nothing to do with
I understand that. It's Zoom court, O'Shea. You act like you don't know what this is. You're not familiar with Zoom court at this point?
Okay, the woman on the left is the prosecutor. I believe
so, yes.
I didn't see her mouth moving. Okay, I got to pay attention better. But then this guy on the right is who? Oh, he's the.
I believe it's the defendant.
Okay. I'll try to pay attention.
Try to pay attention. Try to keep up. I mean, there's usually like 3 necessary elements to administrative court, right? There's an administrator, there's a prosecutor who's going to call themselves the people, and then there's the person, men and women of the people, who are going to come in wearing the mask, aka the person. That's what person means in Latin. Mask. They're going to appear with a mask on, and they're going to get steamrolled by the actual actors who are pretending to be the people. That's how this is working. Normally, it would be a man or woman on the land who would have all the power of that court. Because you've identified as a citizen and the citizens have identified as the people, they've flipped the power dynamic. They've created a power differential. So until the men and women of this land call it out that they are the people and they have all the power to move the court, absent another man or woman on the other side, making a valid, verified claim, we don't have a proceeding here. We got a conflict of interest, if anything. But, most folks, I guess, don't have the balls or they don't have the understanding or both to put it together and to call these folks out and to retain their status and standing and be recognized at that court as a man or woman of the people and to have them recuse themselves in the capacity that they present at this time, right? You are not the people. You are a state actor. You are Kathy Jones acting as a member of a public service corporation. That's all you are. You're not going to prosecute this case. You have no firsthand knowledge and you're not swearing in, and you're definitely not a people. You are a person. I am a people. I'm a man or woman of the people, and I'm going to swear in now at this court, and I'm going to bear witness and testimony. And if no other man or woman comes forth and swears in and puts the facts of the matter firsthand on record, we got nothing to talk about here. And I'll see you later. I wish for this matter to be discharged. Very simple. Nothing to talk about after that. That's the facts of the matter. That's the court of record. That's the rules of court. That's proper process and procedure. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Cowardice is no excuse.
Apologizes for any violations, Your Honor.
You understand, ma'am, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case.
I do now, Your Honor.
You didn't before?
Well,
Even though the
we've already
magistrate
been
told you?
we've already been together, Your Honor, as you've seen on camera. The whole world's seen on camera. And we have been together for 15 years. So he also told them that picked it up, the state that picked
Okay, so it appears she's the defendant. She looks like she's in custody potentially. The woman on the bottom left appears to be the prosecutor. And that man on the right, Kenneth Hall, is either another defendant or he is part of that case with this woman. He might be her significant other. I don't have all the details on this.
He was
case.
showing videos of him like laying on her or something. Like that's why she said that video of us being together. He was like, I think he's trying to show, hey, we were cool, we're cordial together. All right, I'm getting it together. All right.
he does not want to see me in jail because of it would not do me no good. It would actually make things worse, Your Honor. So
Okay, that's fine. You understand you're not to have contact with him.
yes, no, I do. Yeah, again.
What date did you want?
We could have at least 2 week, Judge. I'm going to
2
look
weeks?
into mental health involving Ms. Strickland and determine where we go from there, Judge.
April 4th, 2024, 9 a.m. for probable cause.
Come in April 4th, okay?
Mhm.
I'll come.
Defendant's bond will continue. Defendant's phone privileges are in the jail are hereby revoked.
Again, thank you, Judge.
Yep, another duped out slave.
People versus Dewan Man.
So yeah, I think that this is a multiples on this clip. One of these is going to be the pro se guy. So yeah, we might have to sift through this for a bit to get to that. I might be this being here.
Good afternoon. Again, Your Honor, Nicole James, attorney on behalf of Mr. Mann. State your name.
Go on, man.
All right. What are we doing?
Judge, I'm going to ask that this matter be set for a preliminary examination.
All discovery complete.
I do believe it is, Your Honor.
Will the people have their
People.
witnesses available to second?
Judge,
Your Honor.
may I?
Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry. I was almost, and I was almost going to set that in the middle of Miss James' travel schedule. I forgot to ask before I did it.
Close, Judge. I'm coming out of town next week, but trial before Judge Connolly on the 2nd, and I'll be in another trial on the 9th. Can we do it on the 16th?
Any objection from the people?
Your Honor, if that's the case, I'd like to address bond.
Okay, well, why don't you address bond and let's see what we have to do.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is strangulation. He's out on a PR. There is an Oakland County hold, and he has an incredibly lengthy criminal history. including a 2012 juvenile adjudication for home invasion, a 2013 home invasion, a 2016 home invasion second, which he was given HIDA on. He has a 2013 juvenile adjudication for receiving and concealing, a 2013 juvenile adjudication for malicious destruction of the building, 2019 a third, a 2019 receiving and concealing of a vehicle, 2022 convictions for FTD, 4 2022 convictions for UTA, a 2022 conviction for B&E without intent or without breaking but with intent, a 2022 conviction for reckless use of a firearm, and a 2022 R&O. We requested 25,000 and he's out on a PR. Again, this is a DV strangulation, and I am extremely concerned for the victim's safety at this point. If he is to remain out, and we are to adjourn this exam out beyond 2 weeks.
Any response?
Judge, I would indicate that there is no allegation that Mr. Mann has violated any of the bond conditions. He's been compliant with all the terms. I do understand that he has a lengthy history. However, again, there's no allegation here that he has violated any of the terms. I would ask the court to continue his bond as set. If there was some allegation that he's made contact, I would understand the court considering changing his bond, but at this point in time, there is nothing. And I would also point out that Mr. Mann is employed. He does have 6 children provides for as well.
Your Honor, this was not simply a minor strangulation. My understanding is that he strangled the victim to the point where she lost consciousness. And when she awoke,
Right. Do you see how every one of these cases has a prosecutor acting as the people and doing all the talking for the supposed claimant and remixing and spinning and going off of hearsay? You can't present testimony with no firsthand knowledge of the facts and then read off a paper someone else's words, present hearsay, and expect it to be a legitimate proceeding. So you folks, if you folks would just like step up one of these times and call out that these state actors have no business speaking for you or other men and women, we got a different court proceeding going on here. But this is how they get everyone. That guy hasn't said a word, just like the Castro, other than when they ask you directly, hey, do you hate cops? Yeah, okay, great. Put it on the record. They got an attorney speaking for you, and they have a state actor speaking for the supposed claimant or the aggrieved party. They take all the men and women of the people out of the equation, and they bring in licensed state actors to play on the lowest level of the game and never reveal the rest of what's going on there at court. This is how we lose all of our rights to the court. This is how we lose all of our status and standing and recognition. This is how the rule of law turns into the rule of statute, policy, code, fascism, and fraud, illegitimate contract. I think I'm done there. Do you want a little Eric Mays, Councilman? Or do you want the breaking slave news? Or cop shooting citizen slaves, Brian O'Shea? Let's get a couple body cam videos. You love that. I know.
What's going on with that, Councilman?
Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, we got some cop shooting citizen slaves. Governance, O'Shea. Governance. We need safety and governance. Okay.
Hey, you know, some people get freaked out by watching people get murdered. It's all right. I like it.
Right, but it's real. It's happening. It's real life. You know, we're not censoring real life here. We're covering. I don't write it. I just report it. All right. Body cam shows officer involved shooting active shooting. You ready? This could be shocking, extremely shocking material, graphic, disturbing. Hide the kid, hide the wives.
Come to the side of my voice. Follow me. All right, she's coming up. She's coming up. Come to me, sweetie. Come to me. Yeah, I got you. Come to me. Come to me. I'm not shooting. Come to me. Come to me. Get out the door. Right out the door. I'm coming out. Out the door. I'm coming out. Yo, secure her. Secure her.
Where is he at? Who can see him?
She's down in front of the door.
Get out of the doorway.
Yesterday. Listen to me. Please call the ambulance. Call the ambulance, please. Please call the ambulance. You good, boss?
Hey, I'm hit in the chest.
You want back out of here?
Nah, no, I'm getting this fuck
Oh
up.
man, Brian O'Shea. I fast forward and I fucked that one up. All right, we're gonna have to go to the next one. That was my fault. You get one mulligan. You get one bye. Happens to the best of us. Broadcasting on the fly. There's no teleprompter here. There's no producer. It's just me. I'm doing it all.
Let's watch it, man. He shot the cop in the chest, I guess.
Oh yeah, but all right. I already took it off. Brian O'Shea. You're right. I should have went back and showed it from the beginning. We got other ones. We got stacks of them here. I got to get through them anyway. I'm throwing that one out.
Stay in the car!
It's always the same anyway, right? Like every body cam video is the same as every other one. Stop resisting. Get on the ground.
Stay in the car at K9! Stay in the car, you're at gunpoint! Hey! Stay in the car! Stay there! K9 is coming! Let me see your hands! Let me see your fucking hands! Let me see your fucking hands! You're gonna get tased! Stay on the fucking ground! Roll over! Roll over! Roll over! You're gonna get tased!
Give me paw. Give me paw.
You're gonna get fucking tased! You're gonna get fucking tased! Roll over! Roll the fuck over! Oh shit! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Oh man. See Brian O'Shea. Try to tell the guy, roll over and give me paw, but he didn't want to do it. Shocking. The audience is shocked. I can tell. I can feel it. I don't know if I continue with that. Maybe Slow State was right. Slow State says it's shocking to watch body cam shootings. It's upsetting. No one really wants to see that. Your thoughts? You want to see it. You have a bloodlust. Brian O'Shea?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but I kind of missed that one. I'm trying to fucking gather my shit up to go indoors. But can we get other?
All right, you're dead weight. Anyway, moving on. Florida man cracks open beer as they have guns drawn on him. That sounds pretty interesting. Breaking slave news segment.
The situation is he's used a vehicle multiple times and threatened me with a gun multiple times. And actually, I just thought about it. A gentleman that lives a couple houses this way, he's on a walker. He actually walked down here at 6 o'clock tonight. And he was another eyewitness of this kid literally reversing his car from his driveway right here to where the tail end of your cop car is, and opening his window and telling me he was going to shoot me right in front of the You see what I mean? Now I got to worry about shit. And then the other guy.
6-5 Central, give us the channel. Possible shots fired.
I'm telling you. There, now.
What's your name? Brett, let me see your hands. Your name's Brett?
Yes, sir.
All right, stay right there, all right?
Crack this beer.
Stay right there.
I'm cracking this beer, okay?
12 Delta 15 Central. I'm in I got the male, Brett, out front of where the possible shots were fired. Do you have a firearm on you?
No, sir.
Are there firearms in the house?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else in the house?
No, my wife is with her dad.
Yeah, I'm Kool. I'm talking to him now. He just has 2 beers in his hand.
This beer is cold, sir. I want to drink it. Come check me. I'm not going to get in.
I got you. Just for right now, we're just going to stay right here, all right?
I want to drink this beer. Is that cool?
That's 10-4. We're in the front of his address.
I haven't done nothing wrong.
This is what I want you to do, all right? I want you to put your hands above your head for me. All right? Because right now we're trying to figure out what's going on, bud. Okay? And we want to make sure everybody's safe. Okay. All right. So I want you to, there you go. Yeah. So I want you to step to your right. Keep your hands up for me, though. Keep your hands up for me. Right there, that trash can. Yep.
Turn around. Turn around. Put your hands like that. Hey, don't do it.
Brett. Cooperate with us, Brett.
Here you go. Step out. Walk to me. Walk to me with your hands up.
Walk to us. Turn around, Brett.
Put your hands up.
This hand, all right, Brett? All right.
The fuck, man? No one got killed, dude.
Oh, yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. When people don't get killed, then you and the audience are like, well, we were going to be scared and shocked. But then when no one got killed, we're like expecting it, right? See what happens? You can't win. I got to thank Pedro Castillo. He says, much love, much love. Happy 5-5 blessings. Thank you, Mr. Castillo, my Latino angel, for your contributions and support. You want another one, don't you? That didn't satiate your bloodlust, did it?
We didn't get anything yet. Or yeah, go ahead. We got the one.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You got a real problem.
I do.
I'm willing to oblige, though, because I got a stack of them. Every day I get 10 more body cam footage videos. Let's see. Fatal El Paso police shooting at car wash. That sounds bad. Good for you, because you're into that. You like that type of shit. This is really just good governance, okay? Folks got to be kept safe, and the way that they're kept the safest is being put in a padded cell or in a pine box. I find. Just kind of de-escalates all trouble.
This your car? Yeah. Can I get your ID, please?
Yeah, I mean, you're at a car wash. You're not supposed to be there. It's late at night.
Any weapons in the car?
This
Any
guy's
guns,
suspicious.
knives? What's that?
No, sir. I'm sorry, I'm just frustrated.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, whatever. ID?
Are you living out of here?
Yeah, I'm living in here, bro.
We got to push some contracting here. We got to contract.
You don't know where your wallet is or anything?
Can we calm down, please?
Yeah.
Calm down, 'cause I'm just frustrated with this car already.
Right. This is what I keep telling these folks day in and day out for years now. This is not going to change until you folks correct your status and standing on record and stop obeying statute, policy, and code. And newsflash, when you do decide to do that because it's true and it's right and because it's what the law of the land is, you're probably going to meet some pushback, some challenge, some testing, and a bit of resistance. It seems to be that's what's necessary to uphold the law and to retain your rights. Right? Folks had to like fight and die in the past to have rights or to retain them. So I would think like you getting stopped, you getting charged, you having to deal with courts, potentially even getting shot by policy enforcement is part of the game, dare I say, the game of life at this point, you know? So I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You know, I'd love to say, hey, it's all going to be okay. You know, just trust on Jesus. And if not, trust on Donnie Trump. Do little to nothing and hope it'll get better and it'll all be okay. I'd love to tell you that, but that's your mama. You got to go to your mama for that. Mom will hug you and say, it's all going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Trust on Jeebus and Donnie Trump, right? Daddy Paulie, Uncle Paulie, he's going to have to give you the harsh truth about potentially what it's going to take for us to redirect and refocus this dynamic, right? I know that's upsetting. Most folks don't like that narrative.
What's your name, sir?
Michael Shada.
How do you spell your last name?
MICHAELESTRAD.
You're gonna have to say that again, sir.
Michael. ESCRADA.
Your date of birth?
9/30/93.
Do you have a current address that you're using?
No, I'm currently homeless.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my wallet. I don't have my ID. Someone.
Just to be clear, I wouldn't knock in Jesus. I contend that the story of Jesus is a story of potentially a living or not living being that applies to all of us. So I'm not knocking Jesus, nor am I knocking the story of Jesus. I'm saying that the story of Jesus applies to all of us, and we have to live like that being. We can't just sit back and believe on Jesus and pray on Jesus and believe on Donnie and be and do little to nothing. So I'm far from knocking Jesus. If anything, I'm one of the biggest supporters and co-creators and facilitators of what I believe to be the Christed consciousness. That's going to mean that the majority of United States citizen slaves are going to have to correct their record and the truth under God and do what Jesus would do. See how that works?
Do me a favor, dude. Can you step out the car for me?
I can't do that.
Where's that?
You need to back up, bro.
Why do I need to back up?
You need to back up right now.
Why?
You need to back the fuck up.
Why, dude? Hey, relax.
Please back up.
Relax, dude. Relax.
Please get away from me.
Okay, relax. What do you have in your hand?
Please get away from me.
What do you have in your hand,
Get away
dude?
from me, please.
Clear there.
Please, sir.
What do you have in your hand, dude?
Please, sir. Don't make me do this.
What's in your hand?
It's a gun. So please back up.
Hey,
Go over there by your car.
let me see your hand, dude.
Go by your car, please.
Let me see your
Go over there
hand.
by your car, please.
Let me see your hand,
sir.
dude.
Please, sir.
Let me see your
Go by
hand.
your car. Go back to your car.
Just,
You
hey,
wanna go home
relax,
tonight,
dude.
right?
Relax.
You wanna go home tonight?
Relax,
You wanna go home
dude.
tonight, right?
Relax.
I'm relaxed. Can you please go by your car?
Okay, just put it down,
Okay,
dude.
go by your car.
Okay, I will.
Okay, go.
Put it
You
down.
wanna go home tonight, right?
Just put it
You wanna go
down.
home tonight?
Just put it
You
down,
wanna
dude.
go home tonight?
Just put it down.
I'm not gonna put it down. Go by your car.
What is it, dude?
Go. Do you wanna go home tonight?
Yes, relax.
Did you pick the wrong day to go to work today?
Okay, dude, relax, please.
Okay, get back to your car.
Relax.
Get back to your car, please.
Relax, dude.
I'm gonna relax. Just keep-
Shots fired, shots fired. Shots fired. Hey, I need you to come down Donovan past Coates. It's going to be a black Mustang. You're going to come around the gas station. Don't come around the front.
All right, I'm going to stop her right there. Obviously not advisable to pull a gun on a policy enforcement officer when they're questioning you, because it's probably going to end like that 9 out of 10 times. So Lewis is here now. Your thoughts, Lewis?
It was just interesting to me how it was just another night on the job. Hey, I'm around back, no problem. Just come around back. Don't come around the front. I got a guy dead over here. I put 12 bullets in him. It's all good.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to figure there's a lot of training for this. There's an expectation this is going to happen. A lot of these folks have used their guns in the past. And if nothing else, immediately once that happens, with the adrenaline and everything else, I don't think they're even aware of what went on completely until they get back somewhere and settle down and breathe. So
this guy didn't even sound like he had adrenaline. He sounded all calm and peaceful about it, like it's another day on the job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that we're being sort of desensitized to the statute, policy, and code, slavery, genocide, false governance, the murder, the sex trafficking, the world wars, the civil wars, the economic collapses that are engineered. It seems that we become very desensitized as a people to what should be rather shocking or tragic. Yeah, just another day in a beast system simulation, huh?
I don't know if that kid even had a gun.
Said he had a gun.
He said he had a gun, but I'm not quite sure he did.
Right. Obviously, though, the fight, quote unquote, or the correction is not going to be done on the side of the road with an untrained policy enforcement. The correction is done with the courts. So if you tell policy enforcement you got a gun in your hand and you're holding something in your hand, they're probably going to protect themselves or do what they have to do to you to make it home tonight. You know?
He didn't
So
say he
do
had
I
a gun.
support them and what they do? No, not necessarily. But is it obvious to me that it's going to end bad if that's your course of action? Yeah, most likely. You know, it can end bad by you not even doing anything. You know, you start pulling guns out or telling them you got guns when they got a gun pulled on you. That's how it's going to go 9 out of 10 times.
It's really dumb, though. I mean, these people, like, they're just dying for nothing. Like, really? You want to tell a cop he's got a gun at the back of your head? Tell him if he wants to go home tonight? Even if he didn't say he had a gun. But it's, like, such a dumb way to die. Like, at least die for something.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the problem is that you got policy enforcement who are enforcing illegitimate contracts. And on top of that, they're not really trained at all as much to de-escalate and to be more tactical and strategic. You know, they just walk up to the car, they get in fear, and then they react or respond to that fear and that threat. There was nothing stopping him potentially from, you know, retreating back to the vehicle, calling him back up, you know, potentially using less lethal, seeing if there's a way to take this guy into custody. It's like, he's saying he has a gun. He's saying he's having a bad day. He's telling you go back to the car. Right?
He had no time for that, Paul. He had no time for that. He had other customers to deal with.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this just comes down to a lack of care. The majority of folks at this point have been so desensitized and they're so careless that it's just another day. It's just another number, right? It's not even a person. We're not going to talk to him and say, hey, what's going on, bro? Is there anything we could talk about? Can we maybe de-escalate this? You know, don't worry about the charges and the policy and the rest of it. Let's just talk man to man. No. You know, they want to retain that position of authority. They want to put themselves in positions where they're going to be fearful, and then they want to get reactive. And, you know, at the end of the day, who really cares, right? Because everybody's got a limited liability, they believe. Everybody's got officer immunity, which, of course, is false. You know, anybody can be sued at the very least, if not brought up on criminal charges as men or women acting as a public servant. So, yeah, it's just, you know, it's a failure of government. It's a failure of logic. It's a failure of law and order on every level. And, you know, it starts and ends with the individuals who are brokenhearted and just don't care about what's true and what's right or what the best course of action is. You know, this is the way we're always done it. This is the way we're going to continue to do it. And, you know, the culture, the society, the consciousness slips another 2-3 points in IQ, EQ, and SQ, spiritual intelligence. You know, I guess we'll go to Councilman May's greatest volumes. R.I.P. Eric Mays. We'll do a few moments of that, and then maybe we'll do a couple breaking slave news segments. A lot of news lately. News, gotta have the news. All right, Eric Mays, greatest volume.
Experts and don't know the basic rules. This is crazy. And we spend so much time on basic rules. Just basic.
Are you okay? Are you telling
Are
me?
you okay, Miss Worthing? Are you okay?
That, but
Miss Worthing, are you okay? Why are you asking me am I okay if you okay?
So this is what's amazing, right? This is what I love about these rooms with this guy is it's business as usual. Again, the same dynamic. You got a bunch of incompetent, incapable, and or corrupt scum who are sitting around collecting money while their citizens, the people of that land, don't even have clean drinking water. Because I believe this is Flint, Michigan. So it's like, are you okay, Mr. Mays? Well, is he supposed to be okay? That he's there to supposedly represent the people, and you guys are sitting in there not doing anything about what's true and what's right? Is he supposed to be okay? This is always like the passive aggressive, you know, manipulative gaslighting technique of the incompetent, incapable, and corrupt. Anytime someone gets loud or gets impassioned for what's true or what's right, which should be the default mode, like you should be upset. You should see this as tragic and a tragedy. You should, as a representative, want to have and create the best for your people. That's your fucking job. Not only for pay, but in life under God, right? So I can't get enough of these interpersonal, inherent hierarchical power and value dynamics in truth. Timmy, holler out if you want to say anything.
I mean, you're just sitting in your chair.
We eating food like we at McDonald's. You be eating food like we at the smorgasbord. Complain ain't nothing you do about it. That's every week, every day. You can't stop them from complaining. Shit, that's every
Mr.
day.
President, Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
now he's cursing. And he said, yeah, and we
sorry.
can record the record.
Councilman.
Yeah,
Say it
and so
again,
I want
damn.
it to be removed. You didn't say damn.
I say whatever I said, Miss Galloway. I ain't studying you.
Let's bring this thing
You need to go on with yourself. You is an artist of author confusion. You like the devil.
Mr. Mays is violating the Disorderly Persons Act.
I
It
mean,
needs
she
to
like
be
the devil.
removed.
I ain't studying her BS bull. You want me to say it? I'll say it again.
Now,
So we ain't acting
Are you guys
professional. Who
acting
was cussing?
professional? Are
Who
you
was
acting
cussing?
professional?
Who was cussing? Y'all all of a sudden professional now?
Yeah, are you acting
Who was
professional?
cussing? Let's get this meeting back in order. We'll take a 5-minute recess without objection. Well, then y'all better focus. I want order.
Look at these women.
Y'all want to talk business or some other shit? I'm just getting tired of it. Is this a joke? Who was cussing? I just cussed. But who was you getting up talking about cussing? What's going on down there?
Because I said this is bullshit.
It is. And so now y'all having cross conversations and it just ain't been respectful. Did y'all plan this before y'all got here? The 5 of y'all had conversation previously? Which is swear to it unknown. This is ridiculous.
Can you pause it real quick?
You might would. You might would, because you honest and fair. But you want to criticize me. Ebenezer.
This is how it would be if any of you tried to.
Continue to call you Ebenezer, because you act like you holier than.
Well, look at you. This is how it
What's
would
that,
be.
Tim?
Like this is exactly how it would be if, in my opinion, if anyone tried to take, quote unquote, take control of their county and their town. It would be shit like this. All those fat women looking at each other like this guy's speaking loudly. That's
Right. Wait till
disorderly conduct.
DeCastro runs for governor and gets put in there and sees this is what you're going to be doing: glorified babysitting and intermingling with corrupt or incompetent and capable swine. Right.
That's what I was just gonna say. Chili running for fucking governor.
And
would
they're
be
all
like
going to just
that.
group up because they're all going to smell on you if they don't hear it from you that you ain't like them, presuming you ain't like them. If you ain't like them, they all start grouping up and they start ganging up against you. You're a problem. You're an outspoken voice. You're an issue. Why won't you just come in here and be nice, kind, and polite and do business as usual? Why won't you just take the payoffs? You know, you got to be kidding me.
Any group meeting, dude. You go to a PTA meeting like at a school. Dude, I've seen stuff at like AA, NA meetings. They're group business meetings, dude. I've seen chairs thrown, all types. And then I want to see videos of this dude with the Flint, Michigan water stuff. The way they like that dirty stuff they were doing with that whole water situation. I want to see what they had to say about all that.
Isn't this the guy that broke the whole poison water scandal in Michigan? I think this is the guy, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, he's involved with all that, you know. And again, this is what you have. It's not about the water. This is the dynamic. The dynamic's the same everywhere you go. As Timmy said, a bunch of inauthentic corporate beta males and females who want to go along to get along, do business as usual, profiteer from corruption and incompetence. And the most outspoken, consistent, loud, authentic, accountable voice is always shunned and shut up and silenced. Why do you think, as it stands right now, we have 6 live viewers still on the first channel, 22,000 subscribers? Because the rest of the slaves have agreed in unison, we're only going to tolerate and listen to the voices that say the things we want them to say. The ones who say the things we don't want them to say, they will have no voice. They will not be recognized. They will be shut up and silenced. We're already in a 3rd or 4th Reich. It's never stopped.
You know what they did? They took like Paul, you know, like how New Yorkers, Italians, like, you know how we are. Like, we'll scream at each other at the top of our lungs, but like with passion because we care. We're not gonna lay a finger on each other, right? But like people they don't get that. They've like it's these people are operating on this like California West Coast, like this they've jumped a gap where if I raise my voice, that like automatically means I've like violated their internal space because the Shaitan wants to break down all barriers, and so there is, you know, full tolerance, no barriers, and the mere word of a man saying something with some fucking passion or tone or amplitude is a threat, right? A microaggression via voice,
because
like a mental
because in the real world, even though we're not saying that we would or do support or promote physicality or force, the raising of the voice in care about a truth implies consequence.
Right.
And most of these inauthentic corporate males and females only exist to limit their liability, right? The LLC generation, their whole reality is predicated upon them avoiding accountability, responsibility, and liability in order to do business. So yeah, when you get impassioned and you start to care and you start to address the facts and you're unwavering, it implies accountability and consequence. And that's what they run from, right? That's what they shrink from.
Right. And like, think about how it's that the natural threat between each other is a lot of what kind of makes everything stay together, right? But they've converted that into, you know, only the policy enforcer can do that. So like they've totally just like removed that out of the zeitgeist of interactions between beings. It's bizarre. F, would you get the fuck out of here with this Shiva bullshit? Fucking slave. Been waiting for this one. He's a fucking ex-hedge fund, pro-pharma, pro-medication slave. You fucking loser. He's not going to do shit, you dumb moron.
That's probably the freak, right? Because he's saying that we just need to trust on Jesus and vote for a politician.
You fucking religious losers. Fuck you. Fuck your bullshit religion. Fuck the Pope. I'll knock the fucking Pope out unconscious in the cage fight, which he never answered my challenge. You get knocked the fuck out, boy.
Yeah, that's their false religions of Jeebus and their false religions of government. They can't get enough of it, right? Again, he's embodying the exact dynamic I just spoke about. They run and shriek from true accountability, responsibility, and authenticity. So instead of them being the change they want to see, they'll just revert to Jeebus gonna do it, Trump's gonna do it, Shiva gonna do it. Whoever the fuck that was. Shiva, is that another politician I don't know about? Or is he? Does he mean the destroyer of worlds? Trust the Hindu god Shiva because it's gonna do what it does best: destroy this world in a sense to recreate anew. I trust in the Hindu god Shiva more than I do some politician named Shiva, if that's who you're speaking of.
I don't get why these folks don't understand that they're involved in the world. Like, if your God is so great the way you see it, why are you not able to be used by it and embodied in it and fucking live with your understanding instead of pointing to the book? Fucking bro, we're fucking looping. Instead of pointing to a book that you don't fucking live, I'm fucking tired of saying the same thing over and over. It's fucking ridiculous.
Scumbag, demented, defective fucking mental apes. That's what you guys are in the freedom movement. You're morons. Everywhere you're morons.
Right.
F up or out, you slave.
Children of the lie everywhere. They've been duped out. They've been played. They've been pimped out. That's what Satanism is. Trying to tell them over and over again. That's what the child of the lie idea in scripture that has been true from the beginning of time to now, owned by their daddy, the devil. Children of the lie, children of the state, children of a false god and a false prophet and political sphere.
You got owned. You got punked out like a bitch. And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit it. That's what Satanism is.
Right. It's easier to just stay ignorant and arrogant and believe on something and not know who and what you are and what you're going to actually do next to make a change.
They don't even believe on Jesus, because if they believed on Jesus, they would take what he said and follow that. He said greater things than you will do. He admitted he wasn't everything he needed to be.
No. Don't talk about that part. He didn't mean that. That was a mistake. That was the old law. I think these religious tards are talking about the new Jesus law.
Right.
They just want to leave it in Jesus' hands. Jesus is going to come back and deal with all the problems that we're not willing to deal with.
And you're talking about me. I'm Shiloh. This is way out of hand. Miss Galloway, you're with it. Now this is where we at. Damn. It's a bunch of bull. Yeah, it is. And I want the whole city to know it. And I'm going to point fingers. Monica Galloway arguing, fussing. And she the main one. He's doing points of orders. He's doing points of information. Mr. President, I want to hear from you.
Point of order.
Point of order.
What is your point of order? He has not.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did a point of information.
He answered the question,
That's
Mr.
fair.
Mayor.
Don't get hostile. I couldn't do that. Why not just do that? I'm doing we not again.
You guys, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'm gonna make fun of you. You talk about me like a dog. I'm gonna dog you. I'm a politician. You ain't fooling me and these people neither. Everybody talking to me about you. That's something to say you indulged her on these 5-minute rules and the first or second. Now you indulged Miss Fields. It's on tape. Now she want to nitpick at me. You indulged her and it kept going in. I called the point of order. You don't remember? What are you waving his hand at me like it ain't a damn thing, like I ain't shit?
Come on. Either I can have Officer Metcalf escort you from the meeting, or you can leave on your own.
I'll take the escort because I'm gonna sue. You can't remove me out
We will
my
take a
elected seat for
5-minute
trying to
recess.
talk about emotion. This is outrageous.
Madam Chair.
This is outrageous. This is outrageous.
Mr. Metcalf.
Oh, they laugh. Y'all think it's funny that you can remove elected folks out their seat for talking about Democrats, Republicans, old administrations, and new and blight? This is getting ridiculous in front of the city of Flint, across the nation, repeatedly, Gestapo-style tactics.
Having an executive session for only number 1.
So,
So
Madam
if
Chair.
I can have someone make a motion that we go
Madam
and
Chair.
support and roll call.
Point of order. You got discussion.
Who's voting for these fucking people, you fucking religious losers? Look at these fucking women running your fucking lives. How are you guys not angry about that?
Madam Chair, you can't change the rules. I don't care if I repeat it again. When it's a motion made and properly seconded, you got discussion on the motion. Don't argue with me. Point of order. What is the point? It's been a motion made and properly seconded. Don't railroad this procedure. Now I'm asking for the floor.
Roll call, please.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Yes.
I appeal the ruling of the chair to call for the vote without
Yes.
What is y'all doing? Point of order. An appeal is on the floor. We out of order.
Ms. Galloway?
Did anybody support the appeal? You supported the appeal. This is getting ridiculous.
The fat white guy.
You can't railroad this proceeding.
That guy's probably the financier. Like that guy's like, oh, yeah. I want to know what that guy's role is.
There wasn't a motion on the floor.
She don't know.
For the last 7 or 8 minutes, you've been in discussion without a motion on the floor.
That's correct.
I was going to point that out. So you've already discussed it. There was no motion on the floor.
Point of order. A motion has been properly made and supported. Then she tried to bypass the discussion on the motion. I appeal the ruling of the chair to proceed, and Mr. Winfrey supported the
That's also a good point by Emmanuel. None of these men speak up in backing up Mays. Be like, yo, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Right, because in this culture, and this is why I talk pimping in at risk of triggering the well-to-do white folks, because the dynamics are the same. You got a bunch of broken hoes who are running the situation, and you got a bunch of beta male simp tricks who won't just call them out and tell them, shut up, and let's get down to business the way we're supposed to be doing it. They just sit idly by. They force Eric Mays to take on all the obligations and responsibilities. They don't want to speak up and potentially threaten their corporate positions.
Right.
This is the bane of our existence. They can't pimp right and they can't hoe right.
And this
I know that that's triggering.
Yeah, shit goes on there in the government, quote unquote government house, in these people's homes, at the corporations, fucking everywhere, at the school. Would you fucking slaves wake up? Fuck.
Yeah, the toxic feminine women and emasculated males are running this society and culture into the ground. And when you get a loud, outspoken voice, they're condemned and they're silenced, or they sit by idly and let you take on all the obligations and responsibilities. It's not profitable, right? To be accountable and responsible and authentic and principled and move toward true value systems. It's just not profitable, it seems.
You ready for that? You know how to do that, Miss Van Buren? The discuss and appeal of the ruling of the chair. You embarrassing us. Y'all having meetings on top of the meetings. Y'all getting y'all strategy together. This is simple. Just out the railroad elected.
And then all you cops out there enforcing these old ladies' mandates.
Tell us why you want to go without discussion. You want to do it or you want to?
Ain't a title, dumbass.
No, we gonna discuss the appeal first. That's the order. The charter gives us authority to put people under oath when we have them before any committee. Point of order, Mr. Davis, you out of order. And I'm gonna ask you to warn him, Miss Galloway, because sitting here talking next to me, I sat and listened to the mess he was talking about, didn't say a word. It ain't no mess. Okay, well, I'm
Mr. Davis, I am giving you a warning. Mr. Davis,
Can you have
Mr. Davis, that's your only warning. Mr. Davis, that's your warning.
Recess till we get his butt out of here. But I ain't got no.
Mr. Davis, you're going to be removed.
He ain't finna run this council. Been here a year or two and think he finna run the city.
Those boys don't scare me. I can get all this shit. Mr. Davis, you are out of order. I am officially ruling you out of order. I have given you a warning. Thank you, Councilman Mays. So, Mr. Davis, you are out of order.
Morning, we're gonna ask him to leave.
He has the floor, and you are being disrespectful.
I'm gonna talk to you anyway. You're out of order. I ain't studying you. You're not finna run this council.
Mr. Mays,
still don't hardly know where the bathroom at.
Mr. Mays, you have the floor. Mr.
Don't
Davis.
disrespect me. You talking about disrespecting them. Don't disrespect me when I get the floor. I'm a councilman. Who is you? Who is you?
Please continue.
Now, if he do it again, I want a 5-minute recess. This guy, I'm gonna put your name in my mouth. If you threatening me, I ain't playing. This is serious.
We're taking a 5-minute recess.
Thank you.
We're on
and see if we can get him out of here.
But Gizmo, you don't get it. Like this is what happens every day in the slave locale that you're in, where they have billions of dollars. They act like the budget is always at zero or under in debt. You don't understand what the CAFRs are. Go look up what CAFR is and type in your slave county. They've got billions. They've all have billions just sitting in the accounts.
Right. I don't think he's getting it that these are corporate agents and they're not there to actually get things done. They're there to grift on you. That's pretty much their role at this point.
But my point is like he's saying, oh, this is worse than watching The View. This is like a bunch of chickens clucking around. It's like, well, but they're determining your life, and they've got billions of taxes that you and your family and your grandfather and your great grandfather have given them voluntarily. And now there's just billions sitting, and this old lady's like, that man is saying something direct and mean. And then this is what they do every day. They don't let an actual man speak and say something and control the funds and control and stand for the people. And then it's just the dark shadows, whoever's owning the counties, making all the decisions through these fat women that you guys keep voting in or letting run everything. And it's just, I don't feel sorry for any of you. I don't.
Right, because once again, the antithesis of lacking accountability and responsibility and authenticity and actualization and realization is not doing the same thing. So if we just said all these people in there, inauthentic corporate males and females who are unactualized and unrealized, incompetent, incapable, or corrupt, well, then you have to be the antithesis of that to solve this problem. You can't expect to continue to be the same as them and expect them to get something done. That's not how life works. As within, so without, as above, so below. The people get the government they deserve. So we're going to have to take it back to self, back to the localization, back to the family and the house and the community, back to true principles and value systems, and be the change you want to see in the world. Stop being like them and expecting them being like you to get something done. That's what got us into this. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Pretty sure your boy said something like that before they put his brains on the back of a Cadillac.
I think folks have to realize the cold, hard truth that the counties are owned. They're private. They are fucking owned by old families that were here before the Constitution, okay? And fact is, you don't get a say or interest in any of it, even if you paid your slave tax, because seems to me it was voluntary the whole fucking time. So you're not getting your reparations. So this is to the white people too. It's almost like white reparations in a way. Like for hundreds, maybe 100 years, you white folks have been paying
reparations.
You guys, the white folks' families out here have been paying the slave tax for 100 years, and they think they have an interest in the county, in the city, in the town that they're in, but it's a private corporation. You don't. You have it's zero interest. You're not a part owner of the town you're fucking in, under the ground. You're dead. You've been voluntarily giving them funds. They're stacking billions. Some guy in Europe from the great grandfather of the invader who went and killed the Indians in your area. I'm from New Rochelle, some stupid French name. Some French assholes came in and invaded in the 1600s. The fuck do what ownership interest do I have in the town of New Rochelle? None. So
right, your interest comes from the land that you're born on, and if you won't claim as a man or woman of the people your status and standing and that land, then the claim you are making is an interest in a foreign corporation incorporated on America, United States of America, and its subsidiaries. So you have no actual direct interest in United States or its subsidiaries or the property that it lays claim to, because ironically, the property it lays claim to is your property, and it's God's property first. That's where your true chain of title comes in. Again, every court says in God we trust for a reason. They know what the fuck I'm saying is true. So the more they keep directing your time, energy, attention at the city of, the state of, the town of, the village of, on and on and on and on, as a person, the less you're actually recognized and the less you actually have a true claim to your body, to your rights, to your property, and everything that extends off of self. It's a genius game. Pimping and hoeing. It's a genius game. We're just going to get you to direct all your time, energy, attention, and resources to this rather than revealing to you where it's supposed to go, which would make us superfluous more than necessary, right? The same way a pimp is never going to tell a hoe, listen, sweetie, we're in the modern day. Go get yourself 2 or 3 cell phones. Go put an ad up online. You'll make millions of dollars a year and you'll never need a pimp. You're never going to tell a broken hoe how to go do business for themselves and be their own everything. You're going to try to convince a broken hoe that they need you to be their everything. That's the game. And they got everybody, the majority, right where they want them. They think they need U.S. corporation. They think they need political science. They think they need the false religious indoctrination systems that work cross and crown, merger of church and state. That's why you got your 501c3 churches that are tax exempt, because they're pimping on you double and triple time from all sides, working with the church. That's what the cross and the crown is. Every time you turn on those TV stations that got a cross and crown in the corner, you don't even know they're telling you that's a symbol of fascism. The merger of state and corporate powers and the church as a false godhead. Pimping and hoeing again. And the one thing they're never going to tell you is that not only do you not need them in order to be an honorable, presentable, good man or woman and retain your godhood and your godlike beingness made in the image of the Most High and your natural rights, that's the one thing they're not going to tell you and show you, because it's more profitable for them, whether it's metaphysically with power or physically with finances, to teach all of us that we need to go to a middleman to get who and what we are created to be. This is our problem. Every problem contains its own solution. It's obvious on the face of it. Be the change you want to see in the world. Don't go to a corrupt, incompetent, incapable slave in a costume to get what you're meant to have or be what you're meant to be. That's foolishness. That's mischief. That's blasphemy, as far as I'm concerned. But then all the Republicards who want to vote for Donnie again after he warp speeds them and gives them fraudulent advice on how to harm themselves and each other while not standing for law and order or natural rights, right? They're going to say, Paulie Boy is one of them, they're communists. He just wants to smoke dope all day and believe on a faith system and be the best human he can be day to day in whatever community, town, society, or culture he occupies. I didn't tell folks stop working. I said stop working and voluntarily filling out paperwork incorrectly, claiming you're a withholding agent, and then giving a third away of what you create to a U.S. corporation. That's voluntary, whether you know it or not. Only two things certain in life is taxes and death. That doesn't seem to be the case. Go ask your boy Donnie, who you all keep voting for. He don't pay tax. There's a reason he don't pay tax. And he came out and told everyone, and you broken hoes didn't even listen to your daddy when he told you, oh, that's just being smart. I know the law. Oops. No one listened. No one cared. When Paulie Boy says it, they say he's a Sovset conspiracy theorist. When their daddy says it, who they vote for, they just glaze right over it and go, man, Donnie must be some kind of like genius, you know, but we ain't going to bring it up because we're not too sure how that works either. All us Republicards, like we know we don't know how anything works, and we damn sure know that the leftists don't know how anything works. So we're just going to nod our heads and glaze right over that. Again, I could elect the best fucking man ever president and it wouldn't make a difference because you slaves won't do what that motherfucker's doing. I could give you the best prophet from God in the world, what you call Jesus Christ, and it won't fucking matter because you slaves ain't doing what that motherfucker was doing. There's your system's dynamics and cause and effect. There's your problem and there's your solution. You got to be like all the things you admire, right? You got to admire what you admire. You got to become that. You can't just believe on that.
Bro, if Jesus was elected president, and then he would just basically say the same shit that he already said and say, this is law now, you think these people would actually even change? He'd be like, move in trust, do this, do that. The people wouldn't even change. They're like, doesn't somebody need to put a gun to my head?
Yeah, no, they need a daddy. That's the thing, is it starts in the home. And because they don't have a man called a daddy in their home teaching them, even when they elect Donnie, their second best daddy, they can't get it done from the ground up because daddy comes out and says, guys, amazing. I've done this. I've done that, but it can't go anywhere unless you guys do it and live it. He said that in one of the speeches. He said, I can only do so much until you people uphold the law and go forward with the rights. And he's pretty much telling you, so he has to be more direct. He has to do like fireside chats, like I believe it was FDR used to do. He's got to come on by the fireplace and do 2 hours a night like I do, 2 to 3 hours a night, just spoon feeding the pathetic childlike citizen slaves on how they need to live and be and can't count on him to do it for them, right? The same way your daddy would tell you at some point, hey, Junior, you got to grow up. You got to pull your own weight. You got to do certain things and be certain things to get certain things in this life. Can't do it for you. right? So I encourage, if Donnie's the best daddy ever, Mr. Operation Warp Speed, aka Mr. Wonderful, right? Everybody's favorite daddy coming up next on the election, season 3. You know, I'm encouraging him to do fireside chats like FDR and spoon feed the slaves whatever wisdom he has to let them know what they need to do and be to make America great again. You can't elect someone at the top and have a bunch of lowlives underneath and expect to make America great again. America only was ever great and will only be great because it's populated by great people who aspire to greatness. Any of this ringing true for anyone? Any of this resonating, or am I off on something here? Daddy can't do it all for us.
The Vatican is evil. The I-can, putting your I into the can, your consciousness into the can, doesn't do anything to you. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How does some international organization, some faraway country, what the fuck does that have to do with you being a slave every fucking day?
They don't say it. They don't say it. All they see is the game and the cage they're born into and who runs it. They just can never do self-reflection and introspection and see where they have all the value and power as a being. They've been so pimped on and mind controlled. The average individual thinks they have no voice, no power, no influence. That's why the last 4 years, when Donnie and everyone gave the order to lock down and told you all you were non-essential, you accepted it and sat home. You didn't say, we don't care about what they say. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want and need to do. We have some self-worth, self-esteem, self-value. We're not going for it. No, you made it true, whatever they said. So that proves that you believe more about you, what they say, than what you say about you, because you listened. Right? That's just good pimping and hoeing. It's not about what they call you. It's what you answer to. If I say, hey, bitch, get over here and be my hoe, you're not essential, lock down, and you go, yes, daddy, can I have another stimulus? Who's going to be mad at the end of that? Don't hate the player, hate the game. It was up to the individual, which makes up the collective, to say, that's not real, that's not true. A mandate, a request, not a requirement under law. I'm not following along and I'm not going along with this. If I'm going to hoe, I'm going to hoe for God. He's my daddy. I'm not hoeing for Fauci. I'm not hoeing for the NIH and WHO or Donnie or any of them. No, you broken hoes just can't get it through your head. You keep wanting to give all your time, energy, attention, and power to choose away to people who don't care about themselves, let alone you or the truth. Whose fault is that? When we're all judged individually and our heart is weighed on the scales, in quotes, whose fault will it be if you're face to face with God and that being says, what did you do on this date with this, this, and this, knowing this? And you say, nothing, because everyone else did X, Y, Z. Your father in heaven's going to say the same thing your father on earth would say. Just telling me you went along with what everyone else did is not a good answer. If everyone jumps off a bridge, are you going to do it too? Remember that talk? Did anyone get that talk growing up? I don't think anyone gets that talk anymore. When little Johnny does some stupid fucking weak ass shit and daddy asks him, why'd you do that, Johnny? Oh, because every other weak ass bitch did it. No, we don't do that in this home and in this family and on this land. We don't do what everyone else does. We do what's true and what's right. If everyone else jumps off a bridge, are you going to do it too? No, Dad. Right. Go ahead, son. Go get him. No one gets these talks anymore because no one has any real men at home. They got a bunch of inauthentic corporate beta male slaves voting for another inauthentic corporate beta male slave who couldn't tell you what you need to do next because they ain't living it. Donnie's not living it. None of them are living it. They're in and of the world and the system, which comes out of the worldly consciousness. Even if they could see their way out and know the truth, they're not going to live it. And even if they do live it, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to put their ass and everything they worked for and stole and lied and cheated for on the line for you. Quite frankly, nor should they. Call me a devil's advocate. I blame the people. I blame the individual because I blame myself before I started traveling freely and all the rest of it, going to jail over and over again. I had to look me in the mirror and blame me. I'm the punk coward who wouldn't rise to the occasion and let these people take all my rights because I gave them away and didn't stand on truth. That starts and ends with me. And I suspect the same dynamic that's true for me, where I found my solution for me, is the same dynamic that's true for every other self out there within the sound of my voice. And their solution is going to be the same for them. And it's not going to matter at the end of the day who does it with you or without you. That's not what this walk is about, as far as I can tell. You don't get no points for that. If anything, you lose faith and credit with the God of creation by doing what a bunch of other undiscerning, weak, cowardly infidels of the world are doing. You don't get points for that.
You gotta let people that seems like they just woke up like last year. It's the Rothschild and the bankers. They're the evil ones. No, you are. That's you.
That's you.
Acting like that matters.
Yeah, let's let him in on the fact that if it wasn't for all these people you keep bitching about and trashing, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself, most likely. Again, how many of you folks live on the land? How many of you folks have your own animals and plants? How many of your folks get your own clean water every day? Without these people and these systems, you wouldn't have shit, and you probably wouldn't be shit. If they didn't give you a corporate beast system to have you birthed into and buy into from day one because your parents and their parents and their parents have been doing it, where would you be right now exactly? What would you have? What would you be doing? Again, this is the dynamic of the god of Saturn, also called Shaitan, the god that eats its own children. You guys are whining and crying, complaining about a father that you keep giving your time, energy, and attention to build what it is you can't build yourselves, apparently. Then you want to cry when the cost is you have to be a sacrifice at some point. That's how this works. For you to get what you're not going to create yourself through these beings, some of you have to be killed to feed that beast in that system. It's been happening from the beginning of time. Molech, Baal, the Mayans. Get a clue. It's a spiritual dynamic. If you won't be accountable and responsible and choose to sacrifice and deal with consequences to build the kingdom of heaven, you will become the sacrifice to build the kingdom of Shaitan. This is a choice-based simulation individually that leads to a collective dynamic. It's holographic. It's fascinating. It's interesting. It's exciting. It's ugly. It's all the things. It's exactly what it needs to be, what it's meant to be. It's going to save souls or condemn souls based on choice. And yes, thoughts, emotions, actions, and inactions are a choice. We have to learn that here. Seemingly, that's all we're here to learn. Last 4 years was a great teacher and tester of that. Most folks failed miserably. It's not my report. I have no stake in the outcome ultimately. You know, I have to do what's true and what's right for me, with me, and whoever's on board with that. And the rest of it, I have to surrender. I'm not God. I don't get to judge other people in their individual walk to conscious awareness, actualization, or realization, spiritual faith. If anything, I'm here to bear witness and testimony and be a facilitator of that conversion and that change. If not, you like it, I love it. Back to Eric Mays. We got to wrap up here soon, Timmy. We're already over the technical marking of the 3-hour mark. We'll do a few more minutes. Let this play out. We got another couple minutes on this one. And then we'll wrap it up, I suspect, unless we have any other uncharacteristic events arise. I'll drop the link again just to gamble, just to poke the bear, test the waters, and we'll continue the clip.
Override this. I hope
this is what democracy looks like.
Thank you. Continue, Mr. Mays.
Miss Fields be wanting to talk so the news can hear her. You see how she talked and then she left, didn't hear what the discussion was. She when the news get here, she get anxious. I've been on the news plenty of times. Well, that's what she talked about me and didn't know what you're talking
What's
about.
your point, Mr. Mays, please? What's your point of information, Ms. Fields?
Isn't it true that our rules say when you have the floor, it's not a dialogue conversation? You can speak, but you can't speak and ask questions and have a dialogue. Isn't that part of the rules?
That is part of the rule, but you didn't do a point of order during it. Mr. Mays, please.
And look, and I don't know what she's talking about, a dialogue. If I know what yeah, you can talk to your colleague. Ain't no rule nowhere that say I can't talk to my colleagues. Find it and show it to me. I can say through you to Miss Winfrey Carter. I can say through you to Miss Eva Worthy. The rules say we should be nice and not nasty, Miss Fields. No attacks. And so what I'm saying to you, is when you say my name, when I get the mic, I'm going to say your name. When you go low, I go lower. But my point is this. Now here we got some folks nitpicking about over 630 million in pipe replacement. And Eva, you can move closer with that phone, Miss Worthy, and Facebook and text me. Because that's what we did when you were asleep, snoring. Just crazy. So you want to text and face and do, that's what we did with you. And it was captured on film. You was knocked out in the middle of a business meeting. Usually you gone. So you come closer and get me, because I came closer when I got you knocked out. So this is what we dealing with. Yeah, she
Point
was
of
snoring,
order.
Miss Fields.
Point
It's
of
a
order.
fact.
What's your point?
Mr. Winfrey, this is as far from professional behavior.
All right, Timmy, I forgot. Jennifer reminded me. We gotta go look for land. I told her to give me the reminder because I usually get lost in the sauce here. So, yeah, we gotta go look for some land, and also we're working on adversely possessing abandoned properties that are obviously abandoned and have court records of no upkeep or maintenance after a certain point in time. So, yeah, using the law and lawful process to beautify the area and to take possession over property that folks are either incompetent, incapable, or unwilling to upkeep and maintain. So I think that that's going to be a good addition to this knowledge or this application to understand that we have the power, we have the word of truth. If we stand on a clear and concise and righteous record, we can have influence and make change on the ground with our own lives and in the community. So that's what this channel is ultimately about. Actually understanding the problems, the cause and effect, and actually bringing on the ground solutions and change. Final words, Timothy and Brian?
Yeah. It reminded me, I wanted to, I'm going to send you an email. I bought a course on, it's a pretty well-known dude. I'm not going to say his name because I didn't look at the course yet. I don't know if it's good or shit, but, next friend in trust, I'm going to share it with you on email so you can check it out if you want to. It's like what to look at, the top 20 things on, I don't know, maybe you already know all those things, but I'm sure maybe you miss a couple, because, city boys out east, what do we know, right? But, I'm going to share my, logins to you in trust, so you can check it out if you want to, but, look for that. All
right, Tim.
Other than that, good stuff. And, folks, look in the mirror. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And, get to it. I will as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Appreciate you, Tim. Always good to have you here.
Yeah, appreciate it, Paul. Great broadcast. I am in a little bit of a rut. I got to figure this shit out. See what happens, man. Look forward to tomorrow. We'll see how this goes. Go feed a horse and film it.
Hang on, real quick. O'Shea, before you go, and anyone hearing the sound of my voice, I have like 37 fucking open positions for things, and it's just like, if any of you folks are actually like motivated and think you have honor and are going to honor your word and stuff like that, hit me up and let's talk. I have a bunch of positions to fill for things. So, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what skills you guys have, but reach out to me and let's see what we can do, because it's just stupid. I have open positions. Some of you need work. So just talk to me. All right.
All right, Timmy, tomorrow, remind me, I'll give your email out. We'll make that more official, and we'll give a platform and a process for folks to reach out to you and potentially co-create and, build community, network, do what we need to do in life. All right, get the hell out of here, man. Appreciate you, Tim.
All right, brother. Like I said, good shit, man. Appreciate it. Blue. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Brian O'Shea. All right, folks, another one in the books. I'm calling it a resounding success. I'll be back tomorrow, as always, 7 days a week, over 500 days straight at this point. Somewhere between 12 and 3 MDT, as always. So love and light and all that jazz, but more importantly, right, or equally as important, is we have to reconcile and resolve. And the only way to do that is to observe all the dark, scary, testing, challenging, negative aspects of creation that typically we ignore that wind up taking us out long term, if that makes sense. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Mazel from out west. The folks from Hollywood appreciate you being part of this show business-based broadcast, right? This is the greatest show, non-show on earth. The best show is no show. The best game is no game. So, yeah, let's stop playing. Stop playing games. Let's get back to the real reality, as real as it's going to get, and live life to the fullest. Be the change you want to see, folks. I'm out of here. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Paulie, why do you care so much about dying on this hill and fighting this battle of traveling freely? It goes, speak free, move free. If you're losing those two, you got nothing left. Fuck slaves. If you can't speak freely and move freely, you're a fucking prisoner. Don't you get that? The thing is it's not about the land you got. It's like the rights you got, the property you got, whatever extends off you. It's about getting, keeping, and having it in the sense of the status and jurisdiction, not in the sense of, you know, the prideful, egotistical state of consciousness. So tell me all about how you're going to have $1,000 piece of land or a $10 million piece of land, but you really don't own it because you got to pay taxes on it. When are we going to address the law of the land versus statute, policy, and code? Hello? That's what brought us into this interaction, remember? They don't have a right, nor is it sound procedure to possess or to try to take tribute from land that is supposed to be owned and controlled and at the whim of the man or the woman who's claiming such and has the documentation and record to prove it. This is absurd. So when are you folks going to activate your conviction in your mind and heart, first and foremost, and say, this is bizarre, this is incorrect behavior, I'm not interested what the code even says, I want to have a conversation with my servants, with my representatives. I want to know how this benefits me, and if it doesn't benefit me, it's a detriment to me. How could that be lawful? So when are folks going to take a stand? When are they going to put the proper status and jurisdiction on record? When are they going to make their claim? Or do conditional acceptance with these state of agents and say, I'll accept everything and even pay you twice as much as what you're asking for. If you would just substantiate your motherfucking claim in something that is sensible and lawful, show it to me. When are you going to do that? Because I don't see how much land and whatever the fuck else you're going to get and avoid that experience and ever feel like a real man or woman here, a real American, a real Canadian. I think you're always going to know in the back of your mind or in your subconscious you're a bitch-ass slave and never rose to the occasion. Because you're too scared of having to go sit with yourself in a box, which has been done from the beginning of time by everyone, including the man you all say you worship and started societies off of. I'm waiting. That thing is waiting. You're all quietly desperate and waiting for the inevitable to take hold of you anyway. Why not activate and do something different today? I'm just asking questions. If you're tacitly agreeing with a presumption and assumption and you're not rebutting it or asking for the delegation of authority and the facts of the matter, you're already pimped. Call it a day. Just go be a good fucking hoe and live the rest of your life from that venue and that status. I'm not mad at it. It only increases my value and rarity with the universal force and with the people. So go ahead, be a good pet slave, submissive, broken hoe, and do what the fuck you're told to do. And hope that you die with enough representations of value to make you feel like a human fucking being. I'm down with it. You like it, I love it.
God of all media.